I want to talk about some taboo stuff that I came across this last couple weeks as I'm learning about a baby. So filming this is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to hold the camera as opposed to setting it up and going in the garage or anything like that. I'm not going to talk about exercise and nutrition. I probably won't really touch on for what I'm doing right now. I'll do those in another video. But mindset wise, one of the things that's been really hard is like the availability of information, which is really great, but also the availability of information is really frustrating. So the last couple weeks, I obviously have never had a newborn before, and it's kind of hard to figure out their sleeping because this one, she makes a lot of noises and she moves a lot, which I guess is normal. And so you can even hear her in this video. Um, so and obviously, like, it was really hard. So I have a bassinet in the room, and then I sleep in the master. And so for the first couple nights, like, she slept with me in the hospital in the bed because I was so fearful that she was going to like spit up and swallow it and then die, of course, going back to irrational fears. And then we had our newborn care specialist who comes at night. She comes 3 nights a week. The first night we came home from the hospital, she helped us out. And that was really great. But it was so hard initially to like have somebody else help take care of your child that's not yourself or your significant other. But anyways, so she wasn't able to come the following week because of the holiday. And I honestly had the hardest time putting her in the bassinet and just letting her be because I didn't know like that there was active sleep and that they were really busy in their sleep. So she would wake up and I would end up putting her in bed with me because I couldn't like sleep with her. Like I wasn't sleeping because I was so nervous about her being in the bed and whatnot. And it seemed like she didn't like any of the swaddles. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, so my baby doesn't like swaddles and they have to sleep in bed with me. And like, again, if you co-sleep, this is not like a knack on that, like totally go for it. Cause I can totally understand why. So she was sleeping in bed with me. And so I'm like trying to look up like, okay, if your baby does co-sleep, like what are safe ways to do it? And it was more so of like, just have them in bed and don't roll over and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, like, I don't know, like, cause I would end up having her sleep like on my chest with me. But of course, like I'm going into a lighter sleep because I'm so nervous about like, what if I roll and she rolls off the bed and all this stuff. So it was like, and then you find stuff that's like, don't have the baby sleep in bed with you. And then of course it's like, especially if you drink or if you use drugs, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not doing either of those. So then the swaddle thing came up and it was like, I saw somebody was like, it's not that your baby doesn't like swaddling, it's like that you don't know how to swaddle. And I'm like, I literally tried like 8 different things that we've gotten as gifts, and none of them made her like, I'm saying like a lot, sorry. None of them made her calm down. So is it a me thing? So that was hard too, because then you're like, well, I'm obviously failing at this part. Then on top of that, I ended up reaching out to quite a few people about this last one because she would sleep really well on her stomach in my bed. And so even when we would nap, I would slide out if I woke up before her and let her just stay in bed. So then, one, I'm failing because she's in bed without supervised and it's super soft. And then 2, she's sleeping on her stomach. And apparently you're not supposed to do any of those. And so I'm trying to look up like, okay, but what if you do? Like, what if you do that? And what is a safe way to do it? And how can, like, is it really that high of a risk of SIDS if they do sleep on their stomach, considering babies used to be told to sleep on their stomach? So there, of course, was no information about that. And it was all like, don't do it, don't do it. And I'm thinking at the time before our support came back to help me in the night was, what if I like can't do it? What if that's the only way she sleeps? What if that's my only option? Like, at least give me an option here of how to do it if I'm going to do it right. So I ended up reaching out to quite a few people and just being like, what can I do? How do you do this? Hi. Oh. So I reached out to quite a few people and was like, I don't know what to do. And every person that I reached out to was like, said that their kid had slept on their stomach. And so I was like, okay, well then what the hell? So we're all secretly letting our kids sleep on their stomachs, and we don't have any supportive, like I could not find anything that supported, like, if you are going to do it, here's how to do it safely. And so I was learning from these other gals and friends that I reached out to of what the heck to do. And some of them, again, were similar to me, of like so scared to do it, but felt that's the only way their baby slept. So what are they supposed to do? Or that's the only, like one of them, her baby was in the NICU, and the only way that she slept was next in the bed with her and her husband. And so it's like that. And then another one had to do like this whole contraction because she was so scared that if they were going to sleep on their stomach, that they were going to suffocate. And I'm like, okay, so there needs to be a resource for this shit that you're not supposed to be doing, but you do because you have to, because you're trying to just survive having a kid. So there was that. And then the other things, taboo, spit up. It's like you're not supposed to spit up, but if they projectile vomit, that's a bad spit up. And so how do you manage that? And is it something you're eating? So then you need to control all the things you're eating. And I'm like, I don't have the capacity right now to think about what I've been eating and like look back and make a food journal or a calorie log. And so it's hard because you're like, what? I'm trying to control that. But also, or is it just her eating too fast? Or is it we're not taking enough breaks? Or is it something like a tongue tie or whatever it is, you know? And so that's hard because at some point, she's smiling. It's so cute. You feel like you can't do anything right, and you know you are. And then you reach out for support, and people are like, just trust your gut. You know, you're doing the right thing. And it's like, well, yeah, but, you know, when I look things up or if I go somewhere, it doesn't feel like the right thing because it's not what it was told. And it's so interesting because my Mindset of Mommy's program is so focused on the prenatal and just like preparing for the birth part and like how to make the after part as easy as it can. Are you gonna spit up? So on the prenatal part, like I felt like I was pretty well prepared and for labor. But the postpartum, like I didn't even know what to ask. And you know, you hear people say what they say and they get their experience, but like you don't know that your baby might like sleeping on their stomach. You don't know that they might be like really loud every night, and that doesn't necessarily mean they are awake and you need to pick them up or console them. So I don't know. There was a couple days there where I literally just cried because I felt like I didn't do anything right and I couldn't figure her out. And to me, part of it was like realizing, like the other day I had to realize, like, okay, there is no schedule for a baby. They're just going to kind of do what they need to do. Or, well, I guess I should say like a newborn because she's 2.5 weeks now. So I guess this message is just to give the reality of it for those that don't have a baby yet or are watching. And for those that do, like, and who have had it, of I'd be curious to see what your experience, I guess is the word, experience was of like, what did you do that was taboo that you shouldn't have done, but that you literally had no choice, or you felt like you had no choice and, you know, it made you crawl out of your skin to do it. Because even like there were certain things that we didn't do with her when she was born. And so we went to the pediatrician this week to do some testing. And this person at the office had asked if I had done a certain thing when she was born. And I said no. And the look I got, and then she just left the room. And that was the end of the appointment. So I got a look, and then a room left. And I was like, okay. So then, of course, I get home and I'm like, should I have done that thing? And it was like, no, we made that choice as a family not to do said thing. But this gal, it was like, fuck, like, maybe we should have. And, you know, who knows? So it's hard because you feel so guilty for not doing the right thing. But then you feel so fearful if you choose to do the taboo thing, but then you feel like so exhausted to try because you're just trying to make it. But you want to do the right thing, and because it's always like, what if your kid is the one that, gets screwed up on it, whatever thing you're choosing to do. So just wanted to make a video about that because it's hard and you feel really guilty. And I guess maybe the more practice you have, the easier it gets, but I don't know. I doubt it because it doesn't sound like it from my clients who still feel mom guilt when their kids are like 18 years old going to college. So we'll see. All right. Next videos. Honestly, in the long story short, exercise is going too well, I guess. I've recently made a video about that, of what I'm currently doing. It's just body weight stuff. Lots of mobility for sure, as much as I can. Nutrition-wise, still not tracking calories, so I have no idea where I'm at. I will say I'm probably not eating enough because I am fairly hungry pretty often, but sometimes it's just her feeding time tends to run into when I used to eat. So she will take priority. But I will say body-wise, it's starting to come up. I thought I might have dodged a bullet on that, but I'm starting to like look at myself and be like, ooh, okay, I want to go into a cut. And I know I can't or shouldn't. I mean, I can, but so I'm trying not to focus on that, obviously, because it's not what we're here for.